the organizational arrangements in the school, and particularly the role of the teachers, is critical to creating the climate in the school and the kinds of relationships that are so important to motivating the students.
I see teachers more as my friends, future colleagues, and I'm glad that they see me the same way.
They don't help you with just your schoolwork, with housework and everything. You become close. You have a relationship with them to the point that they're like a mother or father to you.
So there's this linkage between motivating the teachers and motivating the students. And the problem that bothers us so much about public education as it's been traditionally organized is that school at the moment is not well designed to motivate either students or teachers. There's always a level of discretionary effort, as he said, an extra additional level of effort that the workers can give you if they want. And your job in running organizations or designing organizations is to elicit that additional level of discretionary effort. That requires motivation. And our basic sense is that the workers on the job of education are the teachers and the students together. How would you maximize the motivation of teachers except to enlarge their professional responsibility? And how would you do that any better than to put the full authority for arranging its program and arranging its management administration in the school?
The co-op here was set up originally when we opened up Minnesota New Country to make teachers truly be professionals, so to give them ownership over what goes on. We thought if a teacher became an owner, they would act a whole lot differently than if they are an employee.
But at the large high school, you could always blame somebody else. Oh, it's the teacher down the hall. It's not me. I'm doing my job. And you wouldn't necessarily know whose fault it was. But here, in fact, when we started the school, we said right away, if we can't do this, if we can't, have our students reading on grade level, if we can't have them, take the math courses, if we can't do that, whose fault is it? There isn't anybody to turn to. It's us. And so I think we all feel very responsible, much more so than we ever did before.
There are kind of two notions moving around the education policy discussion about how you motivate teachers. One is that this is something their leader does. I don't know whether you have quality circles and you have chairs and sing-songs every morning or what it is. But one whole line of thinking about improving teachers and teaching is to, as we've come to say, get better people for the job. Recruit better, train better, pre-service, in-service, assign better, in all kinds of ways, better people for the job. The other theory that the teacher partnership idea is a part of is the notion, and these are not contradictory, it's not an either-or question. We think of these as complementary, is to get a better job for the people.
It comes from the top down. Principals say we're going to, our test scores are bad, so we're going to help teachers be better teachers, and this is what you're going to do. And then we're going to follow this method without consulting. And so that if you're not given autonomy, if you're not accepted as a professional, that you can make decisions based on what you know to be the best for your students, that doesn't work. And so here we have great discussions about, what our students need, what's best for them, what we know as professionals that our students will need, and how our curriculum should be developed around that.
Working as a principal in a very traditional district, you were kind of in charge of everything. You were the hit man if anything went wrong, or you took the hits, I should say. When you move into a school setting like this and everyone has a say in it, then all of a sudden everybody pitches in, everybody's really willing to work in one direction with one focus. They're willing to probably put in more hours if need be, and with that then they get more flexibility in what they're able to do.
Had a meeting to talk about this, and one of the people there was Arlie Gunderman, who was a veteran principal. He had just finished up a term as president of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, and one of the things Arlie said that day had a considerable impact on the group. He said, he looked around the room at everybody and he said, very frankly, my job is to motivate as much as I can for as long as I can people who are in essentially dead-end jobs. And I have never heard that said anywhere that it didn't have hit the room like a ton of bricks.
You know, I went to law school, and the reaction while I was in law school to when you would say, oh, you know, I'm in law school, well, people would think that was sort of impressive, you know, or, oh, okay, well, but you say you're a teacher, especially as a woman, it's not, it's seen as not a very, that you don't have other talents, and that you're not, I mean, and I bet you could go to any school and you would find extremely bright, competent, intelligent people who can do a wide range, and that's probably why they're teachers, is they like a wide range of activities, so.
It made such a difference in my life. I mean, I've always loved teaching. I was one of those people that I feel that I was born to be a teacher. But coming to this job every day, we'd walk in those first few years and say, wow, this is ours. This is what we created. You know, and if we're successful, it's, you know, what we're doing, how we're working with our students and our parents. And that personally was very fulfilling to me.
How do I know it's successful? You know what? Part of it is just, you know, being here and you know, hearing between classes teachers laughing and telling each other stories and proud of what they're doing. And it's, you know, there's a direct correlation between what's happening in the classroom and if the co-op is working.
And people recognize that teaching is not presently structured to be as good a job as it ought to be, and not structured to be as good a career as it ought to be. So in a real sense, all of the effort to get better people for the job is working uphill if you aren't at the same time creating a better job for the people. And how do you do that except to trust them and enlarge their responsibility and, you see, hold them accountable then. If they get to run the school, they will accept accountability.
For more on teacher-professional partnerships, visit educationevolving.org.